responsibilities among women.
He was so intelligent, he was so smart. You know what I mean?
Ladies, not ladies, and
right?
I know I said don't do it. I'll stop pushing and have a master's degree. We're not talking about that.
Hello and welcome to the RAHWladies, where we talk about everything and
anything. Today we're going to be talking about shared responsibilities among women in Africa, around the world, and in America. You know, a lot of people think about this in a lot of different ways. It depends on the cultures. It depends on the individuals. You know, like where we're from. I'm from Africa, and back then, growing up, our mothers are expected to be the wife, the cook, and sometimes they go work. They have their own jobs, and then they come home and they still get to clean the house while the husband sits down and expects to be served.
I'm not just even cleaning the house. And the nights, they still answerable to the men, right on the bed. They still have to do the, you know. So the thing is, does he have to continue? No. Because in the age that we're living in now, people are wearing out very quickly. So if these responsibilities are not shared, you're going to wear the woman out very quickly. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the women seems to be doing so much, even in this Western world and this day and age. They are just doing so much, taking care of the children, doing the babysitting, and still working. And you know, some African men especially will say, oh, that's your responsibility. But have you, as a man, forgotten your own responsibility? Because in Africa, men worked. The women take care of the children at home. So what about that in this Western world?
No. You just said that the men work and the women. No. In Africa, men work and women work. Most of the women go to the marketplace to sell, or they have jobs.
But you know, growing up, actually, my mother was a petty trader. You
Yes.
know, and my father did a lot of the working because with that, they are able to supervise the children.
Yes.
When you go to school, you come back, the way you play, and you know, the way you do things.
Yeah, well, today we're talking about shared responsibility. How can, you know, the responsibility at home be shared between a man and the woman? Even though the women are doing a lot, the men should also be part of what the women are doing, raising the children, cooking, cleaning, and at the same time, you have to, you know, do your part.
I know a lot of the African men, or maybe some men in some other countries, they're not going to like us and this. But the truth is that we're not saying that women shouldn't do anything. I mean, women should like sit down while the men should not go into the kitchen and begin to cook for us or scrub the bath. But what we are saying is that there should be, you know, you should help the woman. The woman shouldn't be doing everything. Like in this part of the world that we live in, you know, most of the men, they see the women not just as an ATM machine because the women work so hard. Maybe they are nurses, doctors, and business people. So the thing is, how do you help them when they go about these businesses? Do you just sit down at home, cooking on your TV channel, you know, looking at the remote, playing games, and she brings the money and, you know, what's
I had a couple that came from Africa recently. A husband, wife, and 3 kids. And the husband just sits down and the wife goes out to work, comes home, cook, cleans, wash the children's clothes. And I'm looking at the guys like, what are you doing? It was like, it's a woman, so I'm like, excuse me. I mean, I was so, and the woman was looking at me shocked because she doesn't know any different. I'm like, well, you know, you guys gotta work together. I mean, I have men that make, in the Western world, men take breakfast up to the wives in the bed. They cook, the men cook, the men clean. You know, it's all about shared responsibility. We have to share what we do.
And you know, sis, when you take breakfast in bed, something else comes after. So,
are you going differently?
all I'm saying is that women need to speak up too. If you think you're doing too much, if you think the responsibilities are weighing you down, please talk to your partners, talk to your husband. You know, encourage them to help you. Even though we are women, sometimes we let, you know, go. We want to do all these things. We want to do multitask. We want to go to work, cook, clean, take care of the children.
But don't, Cynthia, don't forget also that sometimes the women like it. You know, we're talking about shared responsibility. That's okay. The men should have. But sometimes too, the women don't give the man that space.
Exactly.
They want to do the walking. So if you're that type of lady, you know, you have, for instance, you have 3 or 4 or 5, 6 kids, and you still want to go to work to do 100 hours a week. You know, you want to work Monday to Saturday or Sunday. What do you expect the man to do? So the thing is, tune down your work pace.
Yes,
you know, tune it down a little bit. Then talk to the man. And, you know.
I think that the women sometimes kind of cause these things. I've seen a lady that said to me, oh, you know, my husband don't want to work. He doesn't want to do anything. I have to work so that my children can eat and we can put a roof over our head. That is so wrong because he's a man. You know, God make a man to be the head of the family. And a man's supposed to really, you know, be the man that he's been created to be and be able to fed for the family. That's
a totally different situation with a man that's lazy, that's not working. We're talking about really the man that's able to work and the woman that's able to work. They both work, but the woman seems to be carrying most of the load. When they come back, when they come from work, she sits down and expects the woman to cook. Just taking care of 2, 3 kids, it's a job of its own.
So I mean,
what time do you have? I think men, if you're out there watching this program, I think you should give your wife time to go out there and pamper herself while you take care of the children, while you make simple food. Ask a woman to teach you how to do it if you don't know how to cook.
You know, for instance, if the kind of job the woman is doing, she comes back late. You know, like what I do, for instance, I cook like the bulk food every week or every other week. So when the woman has done that, there's nothing wrong with the man to come back home and maybe the woman is still at work for you to heat up the food, you know, on the stove or the microwave for the children to eat, give them a bath before the woman comes. But you don't just wait and sit back and like you're waiting for her to come and do dinner. She's so exhausted and she's going to be answerable to you also in bed. Excuse me?
No. Don't bring the bed thing because the bed thing is a mutual thing. It's not
I mean, well, she's going to be tired and she's going to be
and I think that and I think that women should, you know, even though I know sometimes your husband doesn't work or something like that, you know, but I think that he should be able to, you know, cater for the kids and not let you.
It's very rare to say that doesn't work.
Well, it does.
I have seen a situation where they said this particular man, what he does is just sits down at home. Maybe he goes to work like 24 hours a week. You know, I mean, for those people who work on an hourly basis and goes to work 24 hours a week and all he does is just sit down at home, flip through the TV because the wife is a nurse and you know, something like that. So the woman brings in all the money. And some of them will even tell you, oh, you know, she came over here and I've trained her in school. That's why she's going to school so she can work.
Exactly.
You know, so
I just remembered some women, we do so much and we don't listen to our body.
Yes.
You know, we don't listen to our health. We don't take our health, you know,
serious.
But there are times in like Africa where you really don't have the choice, because I've visited a lot of places in Africa and I see the way women have worked so hard. I mean, we're in the Western world, we're lucky to have this opportunity to have this. And going back home, I think things are changing. You know, men are beginning to cook. I mean, I go home and I see men cooking now.
But in Africa right now, a lot of women are working. A lot of the young girls, they're all career girls. They're all working in the bank and the oil companies and all that. But the problem is that, I don't know, maybe time, you know, things are changing. Most of the women are having upper hands and, you know, bigger opportunities than the men financially. So the men, some of them don't make as much as the women do. But what are we really saying today on RAHWladies show? What we're saying is, you know, these responsibilities, they should share. And now, ladies, you know, looking at our viewers, what do you want to tell them? You know, what should the women do? And what should the men do in this area of, you know, responsibilities being shared?
You know, I would like to say sharing is caring.
Yes.
When you share things, it's more easier on both sides. It's make the relationship more thicker, more, you know, the commitment is very deep. So what I think is that listen to your partners, you know, listen to yourself, listen to your body, and when you think things are weighing you down, please have a discussion about this.
Yes.
And, you know, ask your partners. Communication is more, very, very important.
And education.
Every relationship. And education. You know, educate one another. Find ways to complement each other and find areas that you can help and also, you know, make it work for you.
So what do you think?
Well, to me, just like Cynthia has said, you know, we should look for a way to communicate with one another.
Yes.
And also spend quality time with your family, because no matter the amount of money that you make, if your children don't have memories of, you know, the time spent together with either the father or the mother, I think it's a waste of time.
Exactly.
Because for me, till tomorrow, I still remember so many things about my mother. Because, you know, we sit down, we chat, we talk. She had time. So it's not about the money. You can make all the money in this world. If you don't have quality time for your family, I think it's a problem.
I have a memory back living in Nigeria where my dad was ironing out my clothes, and one of my dad's friend came from, you know, to visit, and he saw him ironing, and he was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm helping my daughter." And he was like, "What? You're doing this for your daughter?" See, I think it depends on the environment where you're born. See, we're saying that in Africa, or maybe let's say where we're from, men don't really dominate in this kind of things, but there's some men that has that thing, and I think men, if you're out there, it's sexy to be able to assist your wife.
I agree with that.
Doing things.
Exactly.
It's really shared responsibility. It's very important. It's imperative that we learn that. And here in the Western world, people do it a lot. So we need to learn from each other.
And I think that there should be balance. You should create balance, you know, to balance things up. Where this person is helping, this person is doing something else. It really kind of brings the family closer. And the children, because when they grow up too, they're going to follow the same pattern.
And you know, another thing I want to throw in is that we women shouldn't be too over ambitious. You know, carry your spouse along. If by the grace of God you've gotten, you know, you are in a position where your job is kind of higher, carry your husband, you know, along with you, so that he can understand and help you in the areas where you really can do too much. You know.
One last thing before we go out of here, I'm going to tell those men out there, try this weekend. Try to surprise your wife. Bring breakfast in bed to her. She's gonna think like, who is this man? Surprise your wife. Be that man that I know you want to be.
What about if the man is not a good cook, or he can
just
try?
He can order something.
You can order some food.
Try.
But while at
you know what? Let them not get us wrong. We're not saying the men should go and start cooking if you're not, you know, you don't know.
No, if they're not.
But the thing is, help in the area that you can help.
You know, sometimes it's good too, even if a man doesn't know how to cook, to just, you know, cook it, even whether it's good or, trust me, the woman will love it and eat it as if my husband made it.
There are ways to learn how to cook. There's YouTube, there's just go take a look and make something. Something's, you know, easy. Add some love, spice in it. I bet you that day it will be special.
Anyway, it's nice talking to you again about this topic. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. This is a place where we talk about everything and anything. Love you.
We'll see you next